AITAH for making my daughter cry at a restaurant? My F45 daughter, 12, decided 2 weeks ago she wants to be a vegetarian. I was fine with that. I would support and encourage her if that's what she wanted. The past 2 weeks she has been looking down on the rest of the family with snooty comments like, "You know that will just sit in your colon, right?" And, "It doesn't make you the murderer, but it def makes you the accomplice." Her brother, 7, is getting sick of it, and so am I, especially when I just get home from work and I just want to relax and enjoy my meal. 3 days ago was my son's birthday and we decided to take him out to his favorite restaurant. This place had vegetarian options, so I was not worried about my daughter being upset about that. I asked her if she wanted to go and she excitedly said yes. We get there and when the waiter takes out order, my daughter decided she wanted a mushroom burger. I said, "Whoa, I thought you wanted to go vegetarian?" She says, "I'm taking a break since it's a special occasion." I told the waiter to cancel that order and give us a few minutes. I looked at her and said, "Look here, Missy, you have been nothing but a jerk these last few days with your passive-aggressive comments since going vegan, vegetarian, whatever. You either commit to it now or you get nothing at all." She doesn't even look at me, she just flops her head on the table and starts crying the moment I start talking. My husband does nothing but says, "Way to go." She doesn't move her head the entire dinner even when I ask if we need to talk outside. Go to the bathroom to collect herself? Nothing. We get home and she just goes to her room. My husband thinks I am the asshole because I had to ruin a night out. AITAH? Second edit. When I said mushroom burger, I mean a hamburger with sautéed mushrooms on top with melted cheese. It's definitely not a portobello patty. Edit for clarification. So my husband and I told her to knock it off with the comments before this happened. At first, it was random cons about eating meat. I told her I'm aware but this is my choice. Then came the rude remarks like, "So you're just gonna take 2 years off your lifespan like that?" When I chose to reheat meatloaf for dinner instead of a pizza. At that point, I told her that she does not get make rude remarks about people's lifestyle choices like that, and if she says something rude like that again, I am taking away her phone. Of course she cried and ran to her room. She stopped saying things to me and her dad. But then she would start picking on her brother when we were out of earshot and would deny it when he would tell us. Apparently she has been telling her brother that he's a loser for eating meat, hot dogs, and so are his friends. After doing this twice I took her phone away and told her to apologize to her brother, and if she wants to educate people on vegetarianism, that's fine, but she needs to stop being a bully about it. Again, she breaks down and just runs to her room. I'm not even yelling at her, this is how she tries to deflect accountability. I tried to talk to her an hour later about it, but she flailed onto her bed and started bawling. I told her she needed to calm down and have a conversation with me about what's going on. She just screamed, "No," so I left before I lost my cool. At this point, I am really considering therapy for us. Not the asshole. After the way she's behaved, I'd have called her out the first time she started the commentary. The restaurant was not the right place to jump her about it, but I would have made her get the veggie burger. Your son should get a do-over. You are the asshole. I've had anorexia for 20 years because my mom did shit like that. I actually started being a vegetarian around that age so I could restrict food more easily. My parents said they wouldn't be making vegetarian meals, so I had an excuse to starve. Your daughter sounds like she's being rude, though. Scold that behavior instead of focusing on the food element. I wonder where your daughter gets her charming attitude from. It is truly a mystery. Not the asshole. You should have called her out as a murderer and hypocrite, too. Husband is undermining your parenting. Not the asshole. I think we've all had enough of the condescending veggie people. To take that crap from a 12-year-old? Never. AITAH for telling a neighbor he can't cut a road across my property? Hello all. I'm new here but have a bunch of posts to make. I am 32, and my wife, F30, live out in the country, way out, on about 15 acres. Most of our property close to the house is landscaped, has a flower garden and veggie garden for my girls to have fun with. The majority of the property is wooded and I planted one field of about 2 acres with wildflowers and specific weeds that attract butterflies. We've got a stream and it's very animal friendly. A neighbor who I've barely talked to owns a much larger plot of land behind ours with a kind of winding road leading back to his house. People have to drive really slow and when it rains, it turns into a mudhole. He wants to cut across our wildflower garden and make a straighter dirt road to make it easier to access his property. Otherwise he'll have to cut down some trees on his own property which I don't care about. If I give him access, he might end up being able to claim the property, about 200 yards of a corner of my family's land after a certain amount of time. My girls, 6 and 8, don't want to bulldoze part of the butterfly garden and it would affect a stream also. So, AITAH for telling him no even though it makes it easier for people to access his land, house. Edit, so many good points. Why I even considered it was he seemed nice at first and I wanted to at least see what he wanted to do. Sorry this is long. He wanted to straighten out his entry lane, so construction trucks and dump trucks could get onto his property without maneuvering a big curve in the road. When he told me he wasn't going to mess with permits or anything, a big red flag popped up. When I asked if he wanted to buy the area, he laughed and said no. When I asked about compensation by him giving me some of his land, he also laughed. Then got and said he could go eminent domain because he knows people. So I went to the county clerk, engineer's office, and they said that both of us would get in trouble without permits due to it affecting water quality on my property and downstream where it empties, really far away, into a reservoir. The county lawyer said he's BCing about eminent domain as a individual can't claim that, only the county, state. So now he's mad. I don't care. And I've clearly marked the property line and we were going to plant some trees for fall color. Now we're moving that project up to sooner rather than later. My girls want to kick him in the shins because he wants to dig up their wildflower butterfly, firefly garden, and my wife wants to kick him a bit higher for pissing off her daughters. A good wildflower garden takes a long time to establish. We planted it about 3 years ago, made little walk-through areas so the girls could pick flowers, chase the bugs and such. We even bought ladybugs and praying mantis pods to help re-establish it as a more natural area. He's also now on the county's radar, because he wants to fill in some low spots on his land, probably with permits. So what I've decided is to send him a certified letter, and CCing my lawyer, apologizing for not being able to allow him to cut off a corner of my property due to future plans for that land, on my part. Thank you all for being so nice to respond. Not the asshole. He should have chose a different property then. You shouldn't have to destroy your land or give some up because he doesn't want to cut some trees down on his. Not the asshole. And if he does it anyway, he is laying the foundation for adverse possession to the land. You need to be firm about this. Tell him to eat dirt, because legally he can't do squat, and is an asshole for wanting to basically take your land free of cost. Sucks to suck moment for real. Tell him that. Not the asshole, he's a tool. Tell him to hire a guy with a tractor and grader and put gravel on his driveway. Or pave it. His bad driveway isn't your problem. Not the asshole, it's your property. You may do, or not do, with it as you please. He needs to invest his time and energy into repairing the existing road on his property than trying to cut through yours. Am I the asshole for cursing out my husband after finding out he lied about our son's illness? My husband, 23 male, and I, 21 female, have been together for 6 years. We have a baby boy together, and just last week we brought him to the hospital for failure to thrive. They didn't find anything wrong, but after 5 days and being placed on a higher calorie formula and noticing weight gain, he was discharged. Just an hour ago I went to the store right up the street from us. This particular store just opened, and when my husband and I first went, I noticed the woman that ran the store was being very flirtatious with my husband. Giving him the eyes, laughing at literally everything he said. Staring at him. I kept it to myself though because I didn't want to seem jealous and insecure. My husband has been going to that store about 3 times a week, whether it's for quick snacks or a beer. It always takes him longer than it should. But I never brought it up because I didn't want to make a fuss. So when I walked in the store, that same woman poked her head up from behind the counter and gave me the most empathetic look I've ever seen. She asked me, "Oh my goodness, hi, how's your baby boy?" I walked over to her smiling, about to tell her about the weight gain and why he was there, when she then told me that my husband was up there a few days ago. We were in the hospital at this time, saying that our son had a hole in his heart. Not knowing what to do, I went along with it to avoid telling her that my husband is a damn liar. I was stuttering, thinking why he would lie about something so serious. Wondering how that conversation even started. I paid for my items and left. Was he trying to get sympathy from this woman? Attention? I called my husband's phone as soon as I got home and let him have it. He said I'm being unreasonable, and it wasn't like that. So am I the asshole? Update. We are currently arguing over text. He's at work right now and gets off tonight, so I'll update you guys when he gets home and what lies he tries to spin. He keeps saying, she misunderstood my words. This woman doesn't know anything about me, she has no reason to lie. He's pissing me off. I'm thinking about leaving. This is not just him flirting with a woman or him liking Instagram pictures you lied about our son's health to get sympathy. I think I'm done. I want to separate. Update 2. So the dick is home and we definitely argued. I know when my husband is lying his eyes dart back and forth a lot, and that's exactly what he was doing along with shaky breathing. He kept trying to lie to me and tell me that that's not what he said. Claiming he said, I said he has a hole in his heart because I have a hole in mine because he's in the hospital. Lord, I wanted to smack him. I just stared at him and walked off. I came back and told him, if you don't tell me the truth right now, I'm leaving. Getting a divorce and I'm taking our kids. He started to cry and beg me not to. Then he finally told the truth. He told me exactly what the woman told me. I just shook my head and told him to get out. He's packed his stuff right now and gone to his dad's house. Thank you everyone who supported me on this post. I am gonna take some time away from my husband until I figure out what I want, but right now I'm considering getting a divorce. Thank you everyone. Not only is your husband confiding in another woman, he is telling her your lives, flirting, and lying about your child. He has problems. Also, manifestation is a real thing. I pray your child is okay. You are not the asshole, but he is. Not the asshole, but your husband sure is. Trying to get sympathy and attention from another woman by lying about the health of your son? That's disgusting. WTH is wrong with him? Tell the poor woman he lied to her. You have already gotten great advice, but let me add, your husband appears to be romancing a woman who believes he has a 6-week-old baby with a life-threatening condition. She seems to want him, he seems to want her. I suggest you work on getting both these moral imbeciles out of your life ASAP. Not the asshole. You have a strange husband. No idea what could have been going on in his head to lie about something like that. Am I the asshole for asking my husband if he has money for ice cream? This past year has been really hard on my husband. He hates his job, is having a difficult time trying to see his son, and a lot of debt has stacked up from reckless spending trying to make him feel better. We recently started to combine financials as well as having separate ones. This was done so I could manage our money and pull us out of debt again. This has been working great till the other night. My husband and I were at my mom's for dinner, and as when started to pack up to leave he asked if we could get Dairy Queen. I asked him if he had money for Dairy Queen. I will add the only reason I asked is because each time we get paid we both take out spending money. On this pay cycle he took $200 and I took $40. Well, he didn't have money for ice cream and I didn't want to spend the household money because it was going to dip into bills. My mom gave us $10 and we went on our way. In the car he decided he didn't want ice cream and we ended up getting popsicles at the store later. I thought all was good till last night. He stated that I not only embarrassed him in front of my mom but that I was being financially abusive and he would no longer let me handle the money and I would have to give him an itemized list of bills if I wanted money to pay them. I apologized for embarrassing him and said my intention was not to abuse him but to help him think about his spending habits. I pointed out he took $200 for spending money and I had $40. I still have $32 and he already went through $200. He said most of that went to paying people back for money he had borrowed, so it doesn't count. We still haven't came to a new plan on how to handle money and I'm thinking about saying at my mom's tonight so he has time to think. I hope he is just overwhelmed with life and not realizing he upset in general. So, am I the asshole for asking my husband if he had money for ice cream? Updates to add first. I want to say thank you to everybody commenting on this, it's really helping me figure out how to deal with the situation better. A few things I would like to add: both my husband and I work full-time, but my husband hasn't made it to a full week of work in months. He typically misses 1/2 to 3 days every week, so we're pretty even on the money we're bringing into the household right now. I would also like to add that I am autistic and so is my mother, so I often miss social cues, and I have realized, and I did apologize to him and then originally came up and then it was wrong of me to say that in front of my mom. Sometimes I just don't know until I fuck it up that I did something wrong because I suck at peopling. The last thing I would like to add, and I don't mean to sound petty by this, we have already spent $100 oh no ice cream for this month. He has an addictive personality and we've been working on that, so I know a couple of bucks doesn't seem like a lot. But when 1/4 of a grocery budget if not more goes the ice cream, I was expecting him to use his own personal spending money that was given to him at payday when we divided it. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. Why do women put up with having to babysit their husbands? Not the asshole. But fundamentally, if your husband doesn't see a problem with his spending habits, there is a bigger concern here. There's no point trying to show him how to handle his money if he doesn't think there's an issue with the way he's handling his finances. You're a wife, not a mother. You can't micromanage your adult partner if they are insistent on being reckless. Not the asshole. He's the one who wanted the ice cream, so you shouldn't be expected to pay for it. The money he paid people back doesn't count? Tell that to the bank. Oh no, that money I spent doesn't count. Oh, Chase doesn't care? Ha, ha. Not the asshole. You realize that your husband is going to ruin you financially and then blame you for his actions, right?